mayroon pong pinapa-explain ang COA na 15 million. This is about payment of reward to informers. And then in response, nag-submit po ang Deped ng 4 na certification. General Mempin, can you please enlighten us? What are these certifications all about?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, the certification that I was asked to coordinate with commanders on the area with regards to the conduct of the Youth Leadership Summit are present here. And I was just asked to get the feedback from these units of the Army in particular of how they conduct the Youth Leadership Summit in their respective area and how effective it in securing or ensuring that these student, out of school youth, and even indigenous peoples, youth of indigenous peoples are protected, no? Because that's one of the thrust of also of Department of Education, that our youth be able to be a productive citizens of our country.
Thank you. Now let us go to Colonel Boransing. Colonel Boransing, there is a certification here, signed by you, I suppose. This is dated January 1, 2024. You are certifying about the 8 activities for the Youth Leadership Summit with 531 participants, as well as information education campaign with 53 activities and 9,428 participants. Do you confirm this?
Colonel Boransing, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I confirm that, Mr. Chair.
I observe that the certification is addressed to whom it may concern. And then, at the end of the body, it says, for the commander. Kanino ho ba talaga naka-address itong certification na ito, Colonel?
If I may, Mr. Chair, I'd like to explain about the certification.
Please continue,
Yes,
Colonel Boransing.
our job, the 1st Infantry Division covers the whole of Zamboanga Peninsula and both Lanao provinces.
Mr. Chair, with all due respect, Colonel,
Yes,
I have a limited time, so kindly give a responsive answer to the questions that are being raised. Ang tanong ko po, Colonel, kanino ho ba naka-address itong certification? Sa taas po, to whom it may concern. Sa baba, for the commander.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this was asked by the Deped, and this is our standard format for
May
all.
we know who in particular in Deped asked for this certification?
USEC Mempin.
USEC Mempin.
Yes, Mr. Chair. And that is the standard certification because of our multi-stakeholder activities on the ground, a lot of other agencies ask for certifications. Like for instance, during the Youth Leadership Summits, we get a lot of lecturers from other agencies, and they ask certifications. So this is our standard certifications we issue to all agencies who ask for it.
Colonel, you mentioned about the Youth Leadership Summit.
Yes,
Can you
Mr.
please name some of your resource speakers during these times?
Yes, Mr. Chair. First of all, we have on criminality, we have resource persons from the Philippine National
Can you
Police.
please name names?
Yes, we usually have the Chief of Police of the municipality.
Please be specific, Colonel.
Okay, ma'am. So the ones that conducted the Youth Leadership Summit, ma'am, are line units, infantry battalions under us. So we
Kindly
have,
give names, please.
yes, the Chief of Police. For example, Mr. Chair, if I may, the Youth Leadership Summit, August 7 to 9 August 2023, conducted in Barangay Poblacion, Madaya, Maging Lanao del Sur.
Mr. Chair, there are 8 Youth Leadership Summit, so at the very least, I'm expecting 8 names who were the resource speakers during that time.
Yes, ma'am. If I may continue to read it, ma'am, it's in the report.
Kindly limit the answer,
Please
Colonel.
continue, Colonel.
So we
Boransing.
have the Municipal Mayor of Masio, Lanao del Sur. We have also,
Do you have the date also? Can you please cite the date also?
yes, ma'am. As I earlier said,
Date of YLS and then the resource speaker.
yes, ma'am. As I already said, this one is August 7 to 9, 2023. The venue was in Maging Lanao del Sur. So we have Staff Sergeant Bacquiao, Lieutenant Colonel Miondas. We have Private De La Rosa, Lieutenant Colonel
So how
Sia.
many resource speakers do you have for every Youth Leadership Summit?
It depends on the commanders. For instance, in local terrorist groups where in Lanao, it can range anywhere from 5 to 10.
Is that the first, the one dated August? That's your first YSL?
YLS.
YLS.
For 2023, the first one was in May. It was in Zamboanga del Sur province.
2023, the first one was May.
Yes.
And then?
Then we have the second one is 16 June 2023. This was in Lanao del Sur, the municipality of Bubong.
And then the third?
We have July 26 for the 44th Infantry Battalion in Kabasalan, Zamboanga, Sibugay province, Mr. Chair. Then we
Fifth?
have July 29 in the Big Kilaan National High School, Iligan City.
Sixth?
Then on September 29, we have in Barangay Pugan, Concepcion, Misamis Occidental. Then December 12, we had in Barangay D1, Dipolog City, Zamboanga del Norte. And as I earlier mentioned, another one in Zamboanga del Sur, this time in Dumingat Municipality, ma'am. So those are 8 that were conducted in the various areas.
Mr. Chair, with the manifestation of Colonel Boransing, I respectfully move that we issue subpoena duces tecum to the head of the schools. Are they schools?
No, ma'am. Not all of them are schools. One is Tigkalaan.
So what are they if they are not schools?
Like for instance, the first one last May was conducted in a barangay, in a sitio, ma'am. So
Mr. Chair, I am moving for the issuance of subpoena duces tecum either to head of the school or barangay, which became the recipient of the Youth Leadership Summit
Yes.
conducted by Colonel Boransing.
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's go to
There's a motion by Honorable Congressman Luistro to issue a subpoena duces tecum to the head of school or barangay,
Second, Mr. Chair.
subject to the
YLS.
Youth Leadership Summit conducted by Colonel Boransing. Is there any
Second,
second? Duly seconded by Honorable Flores. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
May we request as well, Mr. Chair, that the documents in the possession of Colonel Boransing, which I believe pertains to the Youth Leadership Summit, be submitted to the committee?
Mr. Chair, according to the Freedom of Information Act, since these are confidential, we can share it, but if you follow the Act, the Philippine Army or the General Headquarters Armed Forces would like to ask a written request from the committee, which is according to the Freedom of Information Act. And we will provide.
POMSEC is requested to draft a letter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
As requested by Colonel Boransing. Please continue, Congressman Luistro.
Mr. Chair, I wish to direct the next question to Lieutenant Sangdaan.
Lieutenant.
Kindly occupy one of the seats.
Have you taken your oath, Lieutenant?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Lieutenant Sangdaan, I have here a certification which bears your signature, I suppose. This is about the 22 activities for the Youth Leadership Summit and 49 activities for the Information Education Campaign. This was held in the provinces of Ilocos Norte and Ilocos Sur as well as La Union. Do you confirm this certification?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
And the certification, similar to the one issued by Colonel Boransing, is addressed to whom it may concern on the upper part and then on the lower part for the commander. For the record, Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan, kanino niyo
Yes.
po ba talaga ina-address itong certification?
Lieutenant
I want to
Sangdaan.
the Deped, ma'am.
And can you be particular? Sino po sa DepEd?
Ma'am, can I just give the background, ma'am? That was the instruction of
I-
my commander, and according to my commander, it was Major General Mempin who
Okay,
requested.
you answered the question already.
Yes, ma'am.
And similar to the questions which I raised to Colonel Boransing, do you have also some documents with you which can provide details about the recipient of this 22 Youth Leadership Summit?
Ma'am, right now, ma'am, I don't have the documents because I'm no longer with the 5th Infantry Division, ma'am. Already reassigned to GHQ. But I assure you, ma'am, that
You can
there are
produce.
documents.
You
in
can
the 5th
produce.
Infantry. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. May I just state for the record, Mr. Chair, that Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan manifested his commitment to submit the document about the 22 activities for Youth Leadership Summit.
Yes, ma'am. Just like what Colonel Boransing have said a while ago, ma'am. I think it's much better for the...
Yes, we will.
Yes,
We will,
ma'am.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Yes,
What is
The
important,
manifestation
Lieutenant
of
Colonel?
Colonel Sangdahan for the committee to write a letter. Yun po ba yung gusto ninyo?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
The
sir.
COMSEC is directed to please write a letter requesting for the documents as requested by Congresswoman Luistro.
Okay, Your Honor.
Please continue, Congresswoman Luistro.
But at least, Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan, can you name some of those 22 activities? Yung naaalala nyo lang po, because this is quite a lot compared to the one which Colonel Boransing had. He had only 8. You had 22.
Ma'am, actually, these wireless were conducted by the line units of the 5th Infantry Division, sir. Ma'am, just like the 501st Brigade, the 5th CMO Battalion, and other infantry battalions in the area, ma'am. As to the specific of which, ma'am, hindi ko na ma-remember, ma'am.
You mentioned which infantry division conducted this?
5th Infantry Division.
Saan po ba kayo kasama? Sa 5th po ba?
5th Infantry Division, ma'am, as a staff of the 5th Infantry Division, ma'am.
As one of the staff of the
Yes,
5th
yes.
Infantry Division. But I suppose that since you were the one who certified, you're supposed to have a personal knowledge of what happened.
We base it on our records, ma'am, on our tabulated records.
Do you intend to tell us, Lieutenant Colonel, that you were not the one who actually conducted this Youth Leadership Summit?
Yes, ma'am. The line units, ma'am, were the one who conducted those activities.
If it is not you, then who?
The different battalions, ma'am. For example, ma'am, the 77th IB, the 5th CMO Battalion,
Bakit po kayo ang nag-issue ng certification?
we have the tabulated data, ma'am.
Yes, I understand. But for one to be able to issue a certification, dapat alam nyo. Dapat may knowledge kayo.
Yes, ma'am.
As a matter of fact, this is an inquiry in aid of legislation. You were sworn in before we started the hearing, and this will elevate the status of being a sworn certification already.
Yes, ma'am.
Bakit po kayo nag-issue ng certification kung wala kayong personal knowledge? Nag-certify kayo, may 22 Youth Leadership Summit, tapos hindi nyo po ito personally nalalaman. Is that what you wanted to say?
We have personal knowledge, ma'am, because we have it in our data, ma'am. That the different line units.
You are aware of the data only,
Also, that are
but not of the occurrence. Magkaiba po yun.
Ganun din, ma'am, sa occurrence niya, ma'am.
You are aware of the occurrence as well.
Yes, ma'am, that it was really conducted.
Okay, balikan po ulit natin yung question ko. Name some of the Youth Leadership Summit that you conducted, if you're aware of the occurrence.
Just like in San Mariano, Isabela, ma'am, we have conducted the wireless there,
Barangay po iyan,
municipal, ma'am.
municipal. Ang recipient po natin, sino? Sino pong audience nyo doon? Sino pong participants?
The youth from the municipality of San Mariano, there were participants from the students in San Mariano, and even out of school youth.
Okay, any other? Any other YLS that you can recall?
As reported by line units, ma'am, also in Baguio City.
You're basing your testimony, Lieutenant Colonel, on the report. Tama po ba?
Yes,
That's what
ma'am.
you said.
Yes, ma'am.
And this will only mean that you are not aware of the occurrence. If the statement that you're giving to us is based on the report and not on the personal knowledge of the occurrence, then you have no personal knowledge of how it happened.
I am aware, ma'am, that it
You
was
are
really
aware of the
conducted.
data, you are aware that it happened, but you were not personally there.
Yes, yes,
You did not participate.
yes, ma'am. We only provided some speakers as requested by the concerned unit.
How about this 22 that you mentioned in your certification? Ito ba na-attendan mo lahat?
No, ma'am. Honestly, ma'am, no.
Ilan out of 22 ang na-attendan mo, Lieutenant Colonel?
I think only in San Mariano, ma'am.
Only in San
Ma'am, can
Mariano.
I give a background on...
May I just make a manifestation? How can you validate an accomplishment report with a certification? The signatory has no personal knowledge of what happened. Lieutenant Colonel was able to attend only 1 out of 22 Youth Leadership Summit. And this is okay with COA? I'm sorry, but I do not understand. Colonel Boransing, if I may call you again, yun pong 8, ilan ang na-attendan nyo doon?
Colonel Boransing.
Out of 8 Youth Leadership Summit, ilan po yung na-attendan nyo?
Colonel Boransing, you're recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I was only able to attend one.
So that means that you have no personal knowledge as well
I have
of all the 8 Youth Leadership Summit that happened.
I have personal knowledge of this, ma'am. Mr. Chair, if I may explain lang po, the structure of my position is I'm the G7 of the Infantry Division. So the Infantry Division has 3 infantry brigades. They control 3. One has 4 provinces, the other has 1 province, and the other brigade has 1 province. So I am in charge of supervising. I'm the Civil Military Operations Officer, Mr. Chair. So I closely monitor, we all closely monitor the program of the Youth Leadership Summit to ensure that it is multi-stakeholder and it fits the objectives of the program. So we have personal knowledge. We can't go around in each barangay, but they have, since we used budget from the Philippine Army, we have after activity reports, fund utilization reports, pictures and documentations. And we have to ensure this because we have a yearly inspection from higher headquarters. So we may not have been there, but we have personal knowledge. We are the program managers of this book.
You mentioned a while ago, Colonel Boransing,
Yes,
you
sir.
were using the fund of the Philippine Army. You confirm that?
Yes, Mr.
Are you sure?
Chair. Yes, Mr. Chair.
For the 8 YLS
Yes,
that
Mr.
were
Chair.
conducted, you used the fund of the Philippine Army.
For our participants, we used the Philippine Army. For the students, they used the local government unit funds, Mr. Chair.
Okay, that is clear. Mr. Chair, I just wish to manifest the statement of Colonel Boransing that during the Youth Leadership Summit, for the military, they are using their military fund, and for the children or the youth, they are using the LGU fund.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Please continue.
Yes. They use some use the provincial local government funds, and the municipalities. Some delegates also are using the municipal LGU funds. And for the participants from the other stakeholders, from Deped, from PIDEA, from the police, of course, they use their own funds. So it's really a multi-stakeholder.
In other words, Mr. Chair, a lot of offices and agencies are using their respective funds for intelligence in conducting the Youth Leadership Summit. This is your statement, Colonel Boransing.
I didn't say intelligence funds, ma'am. What I said was, like for instance, for their billeting for the hotel, they have to pay from their own agency funds. For their food, they have to pay po.
What is clear, there are different offices
Involved.
who shoulder their respective expenses
Yes, Mr.
for the
Chair.
purpose of Youth Leadership Summit.
Yes,
Tama?
Mr. Chair, yes.
In other words, it is not only the Deped
Yes, Mr. Chair.
who spends its confidential fund.
I have no knowledge of what their source of funding is.
But in as far as you are concerned, kanya-kanyang gastos ang iba't ibang opisina.
KKP po.
And for the children, the youth, you said it is being shouldered by the LGU. Tama?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Colonel. May we request Lieutenant Colonel Panopio?
Colonel Panopio, you are recognized.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Your Honor.
Colonel, I have with me another certification bearing the signature of Magtanggol Panopio. Is this your signature?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
On this certification, you certified 205 youth students from different schools. 3 youth leadership summits held in the provinces of Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, and Zambales. You confirm this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Your Honor.
And similar to my question to Colonel Boransing and the other Lieutenant Colonel, nakalagay po sa certification nyo to whom it may concern, doon sa taas, sa baba, for the commander. Kanino po ba talaga naka-address itong certification nyo?
This is addressed to Deped, ma'am. May I explain for the commander, ma'am?
And can you please kindly be particular, who in Deped? Ang dami po nila sa Deped. Sino po sa Deped ang kausap nyo when you submitted this certification?
Yusek Nolasco Mempin, ma'am.
That's Yusek Mempin. Okay. And can you please substantiate as well the 3 youth leadership summit that you conducted in your province? Ikaw ba nakaparticipate dito?
Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, hindi po kami nag-participate specifically because as a staff, we are just supervising and monitoring the activities of the Youth Leadership Summit.
So similar to Colonel Boransing, you are just aware of the occurrence, but you were not part of the event.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
And with respect to the expenditures for similar programs, would you confirm the statement of Colonel Boransing na
Yes,
ang
Your
mga
Honor.
opisinang participants ay kanya-kanya ng gastos?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
And with respect to the participating children and students thereat, tama po ba yung sinabi ni Colonel Boransing, LGU ang sumusuporta sa expenses nila?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
Are you sure?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
Can we recall Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan?
Yes, ma'am.
Lieutenant Colonel, tanungin ko lang po yung pagdating sa expenditure. Do you confirm the statement of Colonel Boransing? Kanya-kanya ng gastos lahat ng opisina.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And with respect to the children and the youth, it is the LGU
The
who
LGU.
support the expenses.
Yes, ma'am, through their POPs plan, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I am done with Lieutenant Colonel Panopio. I wish to proceed to Major Dombrigue. Major Dombrigue.
Major Dombriding, you are recognized. Have you taken your oath, Major? Pagkain po kina-oath. Okay po.
Major, meron po kayo ditong submission prepared by you, certified by Lieutenant Colonel Panopio. This is about the Joint 7th Infantry Division Deped Anti-Insurgency Campaign from January 1, 2023 to December 31, 2023. Do you confirm, Major, na ang sinertify niyo po dito ay 313 insurgency awareness and 166 posted social media products?
Good afternoon po. Yes, ma'am, Mr. Chair. Through that data was based on the reports of our line units.
Ang kasama po dito, Brigada Eskwela, insurgency awareness, environmental protection, shared and posted social media products. And then you also have number of health-related activities. Ang dami po nito, Major. Tanong, saan po nanggagaling yung pondong ginagamit nyo for all of this?
Ma'am, most of that funds was under the POPs on the APB of our line units.
Ano po yung PAPs? Please enlighten us.
Projects, activities, and programs po.
And can you please tell us which agency is this?
In particular, ma'am, is the Philippine Army in collaborations with our partner stakeholders on the ground.
In other words, similar to the statement of the 3 prior officers, yung mga activities nyo, ang gumagastos is the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Tama po ba?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And as far as your counterpart is concerned, tama po?
Opo.
At paano nyo po ba ginagawa itong anti-insurgency awareness?
Ma'am, Your Honor, in partnership with the different schools and local government units, our line units is conducting intensified information awareness drives on security awareness, ma'am.
How about the social media posts? Paano nyo po ba ginagawa to?
Utilizing the social media platforms of our infantry divisions and our line units, ma'am, we cross-post social media products of the AFP units and to include, ma'am, the other agency social media products.
Rough estimate lang po, Major. Sa tingin nyo po itong mga reported activities nyo na to, total of 9,712, the activities I mentioned earlier. If you're aware, mga magkano po ang nagastos na pondo ng AFP dito?
Ma'am, with that figure, the number of anti-insurgency flyers distributed, a very minimal expenses lang po dahil printed flyers lang po ito dun with the bond paper po.
You're saying minimal. You're saying minimal. Minimal expense, you said that?
Yes, ma'am.
And it will no way reach 15 million. Tama?
Hindi po, ma'am.
Hindi.
Hindi po.
No way.
No way.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, gusto ko pong balikan si General Mempin.
General Mempin, you are
I'm about to
recognized.
wrap up, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
General, kanina po sabi nyo, hindi nyo alam yung confidential fund.
Yeah,
You
that's
still
correct.
confirm that?
That's correct, Your Honor, Mr.
But I
Chair.
hope you understand that the certifications, which I confirm from the AFP officers, the 4 of them, pertains to the expenditure of 15 million taken from the confidential fund. And according to them, those certifications were required by you.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, actually I was asked by the Officer of the Secretary to ask for certification coming from these units. But it is clear to them or even to me that no funds are involved, meaning no funds released to these units. What the Office of the Secretary is wanted to know is the product or the result of the collaboration of various stakeholders, including Deped, with regards to our youth. So it is clear, ma'am, that Deped has not released any single centavo to the conduct of wireless to the units mentioned, ma'am, Your Honor, and Mr. Chair.
If you are saying, General Mempin, na walang nirelease na pondo ang DepEd dito po sa Youth Leadership Summits, saan po ginastos yung 15 million?
That's Your Honor, Mr. Chair. That was I was not aware of it because the task given to me is just to coordinate because to be candid about it, the commanders of Colonel Boransing, Colonel Panopio, and Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan are my former colleagues or classmates in the Philippine Military Academy.
Mr. Chair, I wish to ask the COA, Attorney Camora, tama ba ang understanding ko? Sa AOM, may disallowance na 75 million. Out of 75 million, you are asking for supporting documents of the 15 million which were paid as rewards to informers.
Attorney Camora, you are recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And in response to that supporting documents, the DepEd submitted these certifications about the Youth Leadership Summit. Tama ba?
Yes, Mr.
In
Chair.
other words, these certifications submitted by the AFP officers are being used as justification for the 15 million utilization paid as reward to informers. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
General Mempin, your statement is completely contradictory to the stand and position of COA.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, as I previously mentioned, the only task given to me is to coordinate to my colleagues in the active service of the Philippine Army to have a report on the conduct of Youth Leadership Summit. But as to the utilization or disbursement of 15 million payment to informers, I was not made aware of it, and I have no knowledge that this certification is for the payment of informers. Your Honor and Mr. Chair.
General Mempin, I understand we also have Major General Bahaw. You have a letter here, General Bahaw. This is about the 9 Youth Leadership Summits. Kanino nyo po ito in-address?
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, Mr. Chair. May I be recognized?
Major General Bahaw, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ma'am, I addressed the letter to Yusek Nolasco Mempin po, updating him of the YLS conducted in my Division 10.
And similar to the questions that were propounded to the three other AFP officers, kapag ho ba nagwa-YLS kayo, sino gumagastos?
Ma'am, sari-sariling agency po na nagpa-participate dito ang gumagastos. Sa amin po, more on facilitation and security, kami po ang gumagastos sa sarili naming mga tropa.
And with respect to the children and the youth who are the participants, do you confirm what they said already? LGU ang gumagastos?
Yes, ma'am.
At kanina po sinabi din ni General Mempin, balikan ko si General Mempin, sabi niyo po, General, wala talagang gastos ang Deped dito?
Basically,
State that kanina.
because as I was asked if the confidential funds issues for the conduct of wireless, so it's clear that no funds is downloaded or given to the Philippine Army for the use of the conduct of wireless, but it confidential fund is given
General,
to informers
that is tantamount to saying na walang gastos ang DepEd sa inyo. When you said that they did not or DepEd did not download any fund to the military. Tama?
That's correct.
So,
Your Honor.
what you wanted to say, walang ginastos ang DepEd sa taga-military when it comes to the Youth Leadership Summit. Do you confirm that?
That's I confirm that's correct, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I am very much surprised, but let me wrap up and make this manifestation before I yield to the other members of the committee. While we believe that these certifications were submitted to justify the 15 million that were allegedly paid as reward to informers, now all the officers from the AFP, that includes General Mempin, the USEC for Administration, are stating that the DepEd did not utilize any of its confidential fund in support of the Youth Leadership Summit. These statements, Mr. Chair, are completely contradictory to what DepEd has made the COA believe in the submission of all these certifications. Mr. Chair, to proceed, let us all be reminded, ito pong confidential fund na ito, pera ng taong bayan. We all of us are accountable to the Filipino citizens. Public office is a public trust. We should be accountable to the people at all times, and I do not understand why these people who are supposed to explain the 15 million is totally unaware of the same, because they are saying that they never use the DepEd fund and what they use is the fund of the AFP. While we understand, Mr. Chair, that confidential fund, by its nature, is not encouraged to be scrutinized, there is nothing under the law that prohibits the same as well. There are important observations, Mr. Chair. Number one, among all civilian agencies, DepEd is one of the very few with confidential fund. Two, DepEd had this confidential fund only in 2023 and never in prior time. Three, I hope we can show also that while the DND, which has a mandate to address the national security, has 37 million confidential fund only, the Department of National Defense has 37 million. The DepEd, which mandate does not include national security, has 150 million confidential fund. Mr. Chair, to continue, while the police, the AFP officers already denied this YLS, having been supported by DepEd, 15.54 million po ang amount that the DepEd is trying to justify in making use of the certifications that were submitted by the AFP. Number 5, Mr. Chair, prior to 2016, pag ang pinag-usapan po natin ay Youth Leadership Summit, it is the AFP who leads and they just coordinate with DepEd. But on the report that was given by COA, it seems to appear that the one leading the Youth Leadership Summit is the DepEd in coordination with AFP. Paligtad po ito. Number 6, Mr. Chair, I do not want to preempt any conclusion. However, Mr. Chair, General Mempin spent 2017 to 2023 of his AFP career in Davao City and Davao Region. During this time, the former president is the president and our vice president is the mayor. During those times, Mr. Chair, Davao City, while it is authorized to have and to utilize confidential fund, I believe has one of the highest confidential fund among the LGUs in the entire country. I hope the Secretary can produce the data. I wish to ask, Mr. Chair, ito bang lahat ng ito ay coincidences? Given this observation, let us all be reminded that the leeway that is being given to confidential fund is to be able to address a very important concern, and that is national security of the country. No more, no less. The procurement and the liquidation were made liberal in recognition of the significance of the purpose of the confidential fund. However, Mr. Chair, if there are glaring indications of irregularity already, as those that we have mentioned, plus the admission of the AFP, is it not that COA should address its mandate of making sure that all receipts and all expenditures are duly accounted for the Filipino people? Question number 1. Since when has irregularity in confidential fund been happening? 2. What has COA done so far with respect to its accounting rules in order to address the irregularity? And 3. Will COA simply brush aside these irregularities, especially with the admission of the AFP that they were the one who spent for the 15 million Youth Leadership Summit and not the Department of Education? Let us remember, regardless of which office in the government we belong, public trust always carries accountability. To tone down the mood of our investigation at para mas maintindihan po ako ng mga tao, mayroon hong prominent na line sa pelikulang Star Wars. Ang sabi, comes with great power is great responsibility. If you translate this to constitutional language, let us all be reminded, public office is a public trust. The trust that is given to us by the people carries with it due accountability. Thank you, Mr. Chair.